What's that?
Let's go to Matt in his truck. Matt, what's up?
Yeah, I just had a comment about that lady trainer.
Amy?
I thought that the lady trainer.
Yeah.
Shamu trainer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it sounded like a pretty good idea to me. The way I took it meant, when I do the dishes, I get a blowjob. But when I come home from the strip club at 3 o'clock in the morning stinking, my wife just shuts the hell up and doesn't say anything about it.
And you're proud of this?
Well, no, I think that her technique sounds beneficial, let's say.
Really
Yeah.
reward you with a twat? All right, good enough.
All right, Matt, thank you. I don't know if this would be of interest to anyone, but there was another guy that interviewed Amy, and he did it differently. He didn't challenge her on anything. This is Brian Lehrer from WNYC. You want to take a listen here? See how much different it is? Brian Lehrer.
I mean, people were always asked if I was surprised at how well that Colin did, how popular it became. And the thing is yes, I was surprised, but the original surprise was that the book about the animal training school, the previous book, would have such a personal effect on me. I mean, I'm a journalist. I just went to...
You're not an animal trainer.
Right. And I went to just hang out with this great subject of this top school for exotic animal trainers, and I left a year later personally transformed by that experience.
So, remind our listeners, or for those who haven't read...
Why is Rich Voss interviewing?
That is exactly what it sounds like.
Holy Jesus, I thought it was Voss. I'm like, what? How did Voss cross paths with this one?
Experience.
So, remind our listeners, or for those who haven't read your article, how did you first apply animal training techniques to your marriage?
Well, so I was following students at the top school for exotic animal trainers for my previous book, Kicked, Bitten, and Scratched, and so I was following them as they learned the principles and then as they applied them on actual animals, hyena, baboons, water buffaloes, you name it, they had everything. And it just really started to dawn on me that what they learned were these fundamental principles, behavioral principles, that they were applying to all species. So why wouldn't it work on the species Homo sapiens, and specifically American husband, mine at home? So, I just...
This guy has to, live.
How great is it that we attacked this cunt?
Absolutely.
The American husband, as I like to call them.
With her stupid big fucking teeth and her dry lips. I can't say my S's
She's
properly.
got big gums and little teeth, Jim.
Yeah,
Poor
whatever she
guy
has.
has been emasculated. He's still got to hang out with his coworkers and his friends and
He
stuff.
gave that up.
Her
He doesn't
husband.
give a shit.
I just started trying to unravel some of our, or sort of solve some of our behavior problems between me and my husband using the way the animal trainers would think.
Some of our behavior,
No.
not once is she going to say, here's my fucking problem. Shut
Hell
the
no.
fuck up.
Is there, should we continue? There's one more clip.
Lion sack of cunt.
Should we continue or what?
Sure.
Give me one example.
Well, the prime example, the really prime example, the really sort of aha moment is that when animal trainers work with an animal and the animal does something they don't like, they will ignore it. Because the idea is that any attention can fuel that behavior you don't like. So they even have a term for it.
Jesus. We're all about bad behavior. You bitch.
Yeah.
And that would work if it wasn't just all about instincts. You can't go, when you're dealing with humans, you just can't think 100% instinctive. It has to be, the person has to be involved.
We're reasonable, reasoning beings.
Even the great dog whisperer, what's his name? What's that guy's name?
Oh, that's right. You like that show.
Oh, he's the great dog whisperer. He goes, you study the species, then you study the dog, and then you study the animal itself. It's still some principles to it. She has no principles.
No.
She's like watching somebody train dogs and then just added the techniques to human beings, and then she's lying about how this shit doesn't, she's not trying to run the relationship. She's a fucking asshole. I'm not even mad at her personally. All women are fucking that. They're assholes. They're all trying to do that. Sneaky bitches. It's just stop. Stop.
Cesar Milan, by the way.
Cesar Milan. And guys who, this guy that called in, she rewards me with it. That's what women, we have boiled ourselves down to just twat awards. Fuck out of here. Thank you for letting me stick my dick in there. Thanks. My fucking sex drive is disappearing by the hour. Bitch needs to control me with something else. It ain't no pussy no more. I tell you that much.
So, they even have a term for it. They call it the least reinforcing scenario, because marine mammal trainers like to have names for everything.
Chapter 8 of your book, the least reinforcing scenario.
Yeah.
On a fire dryer.
Now it's Norm Macdonald.
So my husband loses things all the time, primarily his keys.
Unfortunately,
and his
not
wallet,
you.
and
Hopefully
when
the
he
brake
doesn't-
cables to your fucking car. Fucking emasculating hole. Fucking plow into an embankment.
Loses things all the time. His penis and testicles.
Yeah.
It was in your purse, you fucking overbearing
Yeah, he left them
twat.
at the altar. When I went off to fucking animal camp and had my asshole licked by a fucking chihuahua for 6 weeks.
Let's see how she handles the losing of the keys scenario with her husband. Ugh, she's a treat.
Yeah. So my husband loses things all the time, primarily his keys and his wallet. And when he does this, it would really, frustrate him, and there would be a lot of stomping around and heavy sighing and all that. And I had always tried to help, and if I didn't help, I would, offer suggestions of how this wouldn't happen in the future. But what the point was, I was always engaged.
You would rag him about it.
Yeah, exactly.
She would be like, well, if you kept him here, you wouldn't lose him. It's like, I would offer helpful hint. That's not a fucking helpful hint. Do you remember where you last had him?
Yeah, we want to be talked down to like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. That's it. Thanks for fucking pointing that out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you put a clip on it, or maybe if you left him in one spot all the time.
Yeah, but what the point was, I was always engaging. So this least reinforcing scenario, which I heard about at...
Holy shit, now I get an instant feedback that came in about an hour and a half ago. It's Carol Miller to the person I was asking. Holy shit. The interviewer sounds like Rich Voss. She sounds a lot like Carol Miller.
A little like Carol.
Because someone out of nowhere is like, who is that DJ that you guys worked with at NEW? I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? But it just finally hit me. Sorry.
Does
The
sound like
point
her.
was, I was always engaging. So this least reinforcing scenario, which I heard about at SeaWorld, made me think, like, why not
SeaWorld, that's where
try
she should live.
one of those and not respond. And that's what I did the next time my husband was huffing over keys. And it's not that he didn't huff and puff, but it, ended so quickly.
Were you trying to get him to not lose his keys in his wallet, or to
No.
not be so upset about it?
To not be so upset about it. That's the trick. I mean, that's the point of it. Is that that's what I had picked. I mean, the man still loses his keys.
And who is this
That's
fucking
as I said
cocksucker
in the
who gives a
column,
shit?
As a badger will always dig, my husband will forever lose his wallet. I mean, it's almost like instinctive behavior.
How about you put a basket in your cunt and let him throw his stuff in there when he comes home? Rotten twat.
Like, my anger is never, based on my girl's participation. Like, I'm sitting there like women, here's the thing, women are goofy. They can't just sit there and let you be. If they're into you, they love emotion like it's crack. So if it's some around, they want a part of it. So if you're sitting there like, motherfucker, where's my keys? This idiotic bitch, there's no way she cannot join in.
Right.
She can't not join in. And even if he's looking for it, if this asshole is looking for her to join in, that's not even what men do. If I'm banging around looking for my keys, it's because, fuck, I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to drive. It's not like, sweetie, this is a participation. You should be angry for shit. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm having trouble coping
Half
with
the time she's
losing
like,
my
can I help you
keys.
lose your keys? Can I help you find them? I don't get... Do you know where they at, bitch? Like,
Exactly.
Get out of here. That's ridiculous. This
Do
is
you
ridiculous.
know or not? That's all I need from you right now.
Ridiculous, man.
Right.
This is just ridiculous. Women are always trying to find it because they don't have any fucking skills or charm. They just don't. They fucking don't.
And good news, Patrice is writing a book on relationships.
Yeah.
Finally.
Good.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing read. I'm
Always
telling
trying
you
to
right
figure
now.
out some shit.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Why don't they figure out how to get dick? And they don't have to know. They don't.
No.
They get dick because they have a vagina. That's why they have no skills or charm. Here's my vagina, and some asshole's going, and when I come home and I smell good, I get some. When I get shit. You know how much I love jerking off? Like, I jerk off like it's pussy. Like my girl thinks I'm cheating on her because I'm like, I don't, but it's just. It's
easier.
It just like, stop. Pussy's not that's when you're 20. Pussy's like a magical thing that you need to get, like this car.
Magical.
Like you turn
It's
40 you
and
don't even
logical at
care.
the same time. You are
40 years old, you're like,
You'd rather just jerk off to crazy images on the internet instead of getting the real thing.
You just go, I love you, sweetie, but you realize my love is just, that's why I don't want to fuck you as much, because I love you.
You need the lust.
If I was just...
You're looking for the lust.
Yeah, if you was an object,
Yeah.
if you was just a something I could just stick a hole, if you was a hole, it'd be different. But I love you. I don't want to treat you like a dirty, rotten hole no more. This bitch.
I got the title of your book.
Oh.
Mars and Venus Revisited.
Fucking show. Damien from Akron writes, Patrice better title it Fighting for Dick Space.
Fighting for dick space.
All right.